right, Steve.
All right, joining us now is Bre Payton, staff writer with The Federalist, and her piece, Veterans Affairs Secretary, waiting for medical care is like waiting in line at Disneyland, went viral and is a great piece. Hello, Bre.
Hi.
All right, I want to put up, first of all, the tweet from Robert McDonald, the Veterans Affairs Secretary, who said this on Monday, talking about waiting lines, for veterans who many have died waiting in line for services. Let's go to a 116 here and put it up. When you go to Disney, do they measure the number of hours you wait in line, or what's important? What's important is what's your satisfaction with the experience. And what I would like to do is move to eventually is that kind of a measure, which is, we're talking about people getting medical care, not waiting to go on rides and see Mickey Mouse. And I want to put up the tweet that Donald Trump put up in response. And he said, Obama's VA secretary just said we shouldn't measure wait times. Hillary says VA problems are not widespread. I will take care of our vets. And here's what Paul Ryan had to say about McDonald's statement.
When the VA secretary compared the lines at his agency to lines at an amusement park, we were dumbfounded. This is not make-believe. This is not Disneyland or Wonderland, for that matter. Veterans have died waiting in line for their care. Clearly, the secretary's comments were not worthy of the veterans that he serves.
Bre, you point out in your piece that we're talking about hundreds of thousands of veterans that have met an ill fate because of the problems with this man's department.
Right, you're exactly right. About 307 veterans have died waiting to be enrolled in the Veterans Administration healthcare system, just according to a recent audit that was just looking at 800,000 people who are waiting to get enrolled or get their paperwork approved to be treated by the VA, and that doesn't even account for the wait lists and the wait times at the clinics. That's just the number of veterans who are waiting just to get enrolled in the Veterans Affairs healthcare program, right? So I think there really is a colossal number of people who are being affected by this, and by being affected by this administration that's just failing to take care of the people that they've promised and that they're supposed to take care of. And then they're turning around and making these lighthearted comments, comparing this situation to having to wait for a long time to get on a ride. That's just ridiculous, and it shows how out of touch this individual is.
What has been the reaction? We brought the reaction of Trump. We brought the reaction of Ryan. What's been the reaction, if any, of Sanders, of Hillary, of Debbie Wasserman Schultz? Has there been any outrage from anybody on that side?
Right. I think, as you've pointed out, what the left likes to do with veterans is use them as political props in order to kind of further attacks against Republican candidates, not offer real policy solutions. And I think what also is interesting is that Robert McDonald, since this quote of his came out that everyone has been, talking about and reporting, in response, just today, his office sent an email apology out to reporters that was really like a non-apology, and read something along the lines of, "Oh, I'm sorry if people were offended by my remarks. I didn't really mean what people thought that I said that I was saying," right? So after saying that remark, he's still doubling down and saying, "Oh, I wasn't really being mean. I wasn't really being, callous. People are misinterpreting what I'm saying, and I'm sorry if you were offended by your misinterpretation of what I said."
Just ridiculous. Folks, if there are veterans out there, all are welcome. But if you're a veteran, I would especially love to hear from you as we welcome your phone calls for Bre and myself. 877 Newsmax, 877-639-7629. First up, we go out to Spring Valley, California, and say hello to Jim. Hi, Jim.
Steve.
Yes, sir.
I'm a 85-year-old Navy veteran, 100% disabled, and confined in a scooter. And I'd like to get my message out to my fellow vets and my buddies still in the service. I do not want a socialist Democrat in as my commander-in-chief. And as far as Hillary Clinton is concerned, I don't consider her a woman or a wife. If she was a true woman and a true wife, old Billy Boy would be talking with a high, squeaky voice for the rest of his life.
Listen, Jim, are you a World War II vet?
Korea and Vietnam.
Well,
Two-thirds of the country, both Korea and both in Vietnam.
well,
It's
listen.
unusual.
God bless you, Jim. And I hope. How is your experience with the VA, if any? How's that been for you?
Our branch here in La Jolla is quite good compared to some of the other places, but they're overworked, they're understaffed, and I've spent my Navy career standing in lines. I'm still standing in lines.
Well, that's
Which is
shameful, Jim. That is shameful. God bless you. Thank you for calling. Bre, let's go next to Burkesville, Kentucky, and hear from Charles. Hi, Charles.
How you doing, Steve?
Good. Thank you.
I watch the show every night.
Thank you, sir.
I love your
Appreciate
show.
that. Thank you.
Earlier, I seen Bill O'Reilly was talking to Donald Trump, and he was asking Donald to tone down the things that he was saying about Hillary Clinton. And I think he needs to keep right on, saying what he was saying, because everybody needs to know about all the things that she's done, and the veterans is not being treated right, and it's all a mess. Veterans are our heroes,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
need to be treated such.
I agree, Charles. Go ahead, Bre.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're exactly right that Trump's attacks now have gained a lot of steam and a lot of attention, mostly because the media has just been negligent in attacking her and holding her feet to the fire, right? So since he has been saying, hey, look at Hillary Clinton, she's crooked, all of a sudden, her polling numbers has been kind of tanking. And so I think you're right that the media has shielded her and shrouded her and kind of infantilized her in a way that's hurting her now because, instead of being able to stand up to these attacks, she can't stand up to someone just
Right.
calling her crooked.
Listen, Charles, God bless you, sir. Thank you for watching, and most of all, thank you for serving our country. And speak to you again. Folks, we'll be back with more of your calls at 877 Newsmax with Bre Payton. Looking forward to it. Don't go away. And joining us once again is Bre Payton, staff writer with the Federalist. Bre, this just speaks to who Harry Reid is and who the Democrats are. Just make things up out of whole cloth, and as long as the ends justify the means, so be it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think it's important that we remember that Harry Reid is the same guy who accused falsely of Mitt Romney of not paying taxes for 10 years and then, kind of refused to back down from that line, apologize about it. So I think it is interesting I think it's telling given his past that he's saying these things about Donald Trump now, given his past record and past.
Okay, I want to get to the phone calls, and then I want to play an ad that we played earlier that Hillary is running against Trump. But first, let's go to Barb from Pueblo, California, at 877 Newsmax. Hello, Barb.
Hi, Steve. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm pretty irritated watching this thing about the way the veterans are treated. I had two brothers in the Vietnam War. Both are gone. My brother that passed away 3 years ago, waiting in line, had to come to Colorado to get his appointments because the Arizonas, they couldn't do it. All they did is stuff him with medication, pain medication, every kind of medication. He had Agent Orange. He got cancer, and he died. And I still don't know why he died. They don't care about our veterans. They don't care what happens to them. They treat them like they're discarded rags. It needs to stop.
Barb,
And
Barb,
Donald
how
Trump's the only one
long?
that even cares about him, and they treat him like crap.
Barb,
He's
how long
gotta
ago was
stop.
this? Barb, how long ago did your brother?
3 years ago, my brother
And
died.
what VA facility was he associated with?
He was associated with the one in Arizona and the one in Colorado. He had to travel from Arizona to Colorado to try to get appointments because he'd be in so much pain he could barely move, and he'd have to drive down here.
Barb, my heart bleeds and breaks, and I know everyone listening to you and watching your phone call, it feels the same way. And this is the kind of I'm going to watch my language. This is the kind of man who now runs the VA who would say something so insensitive and outright despicable about Walt Disney and Disney park lines, and it's just outrageous. Bob, God bless you. I know your brother's looking down on you, and he's smiling right now for what you just had to say and that you had the nerve to share. And please call again, and please know that your brother did not die in vain, okay?
Please tell all the veterans I pray for them every day. God bless our soldiers, past and present.
Absolutely. Barb, thank you. Thank you very much. All right, well, I think we're having some technical difficulties with Bre, but let's move on to Dave from Broad Neck, Virginia. Hello, Dave.
Yeah, I'd just like to comment on what Hillary was talking about, his concerns of Trump making money off the financial crisis that had in 2008.
Yeah, she ran an ad. We don't have time to replay it right now. She ran an ad where Donald Trump said, I just want to let the people know, where he said, yeah, you know, if there's a financial crisis, so be it. If the housing market goes bust, I'll buy houses and make more money. Go ahead.
Yeah, what Trump needs to know and needs to point out is that there's an article written in the New York Times, September 30th, 1999. It's called, the title is Fannie Mae Eases Credit to Aid Mortgage Lending, and it was written by Stephen Holmes. And in the article, it predicted that the financial crisis would come in 10 years, and it came in 9, and he based the prediction on what Bill Clinton did his last year in office. And there's a book, I was reading from there's a book written by the CEO, former CEO of BB&T. Just reading from that, it says the big event that drove the monetary bubble being created by the Fed into the housing market was a decision made by the Clinton administration. The Clinton administration.
Yeah, let me tell you, Dave, we're running out of time. The then HUD Secretary Cuomo, who's now Andrew Cuomo, who's now the governor of New York, sued a bank in Texas for $2 billion and made them give loans to minorities who he admitted at the time would not be able to pay back the loans. That's what brought about the housing crisis. That was the beginning. It was under Clinton. You're right. Thank you. When we come back, Joseph Connor, you're not going to want to miss this story. His father was a victim of terrorism. Don't go away.